everybody. Welcome to episode number 7 of the Just Sayin podcast. And we're actually doing something different today. I originally had someone to interview on Tuesday, and of course my boomer butt didn't realize I had something muted and I couldn't get their volume. I couldn't figure it out. So I'll be interviewing them again next Tuesday. And then, of course, you know how I told everybody the water pipe busted, and it was super crazy this week. So I decided to ask y'all to send me questions, and I'm going to answer them. So, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to go through Twitter first, and then I'm going to go through YouTube. I didn't pick every question. Some were repeats, and some of them were quite simply stuff that I've either talked about or stuff that I don't feel I didn't want to talk about in this Q&A, basically. Alright, so on Twitter, King Quinn asked me, how did you come up with the name of your cats? It's funny. I just look at them and go, yeah, she looks like a Edna. When we picked up Pumpkin, she's definitely a pumpkin. Same thing with Penelope. Penelope had such a Penelope face when she was a baby. Oh my God. So that's how I came up with it. It depends on what they look like. And I love human names for animals. I can't help it. So that's how I came up with the name for my cats. My babies. Although I'm about to ship them off. Alright, Mothra asked me, would you rather eat a scoop of mint chocolate chip ice cream or a waffle with mayo? Neither. I will starve. Just letting you know. I will starve. No, I refuse to answer that question. There is no either or. I would completely starve. Bitchy Sarcastic Mom asked me, how has it benefited or hinder you now that you work from home? What are the pluses and what do you struggle with? I struggle with a sleep schedule, and I need to, between doing the YouTube and getting my wax melts together and taking care of the house, I need to get on a regular schedule. That's what, because I've worked practically all my life where you have a schedule, you know what time you're supposed to clock in, you know what time you're supposed to go to lunch, you know what time you leave, and now that I'm left to my own devices, I need to actually make a schedule for myself. And I'm getting better at it, though. I will say I am getting better at it. That would be my hindrances. Benefits. I see my husband more. Spend more time at the house doing, taking care of things, because we got a lot of stuff that needs to get taken care of in this house. And I don't know, just being home, and I don't have the backaches like I had, and overall my health, I feel like my health has gotten better, to be honest. So that was a really good question. Ely Love asks, what was your career before creating your channel? I was a mechanic. I used to work on cars. Matter of fact, that's what did my back in, especially those like custom tires on big Tundras and stuff like that, like the big full-size trucks. That's what did my back in. Before I left, I actually had to step down from actually working on cars, and I would process the new cars coming in because I missed weeks of work because of my back, so that's what I did before. Yes, I can change oil and do a bunch of other stuff to a car. Elub also asks, what made you want to create a channel? I started out as a viewer, and I made friends with some other creators, and I don't know, they inspired me to do YouTube, because I started out with my crafting channel, which none of you will get the link to that. I'm just saying. I keep threatening to delete that channel. But yeah, I got inspired to do that. I wanted to do like drama videos, but making things pretty at the same time. um, Before that, I was thinking about like taking my mixer streams and putting them on another channel that I had, but I only put 2 up there, so I really don't count that one. But yeah, my crafting channel was the one that I got inspired by those friends. Les asks, do you enjoy other YouTube content outside of the drama community? Yes, I do. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I got a runny nose. My happy place is the Hoof GP, where he trims cow hoofs. I love watching it. And my other happy place is any like Korean street food videos. I love them. Those are the ones that late at night I'm trying to wind down. I'm trying to go to sleep, and those videos calm me down just watching them. I don't even have the volume on when I'm watching them. Those are my happy place videos. I love them. I love those kind of channels. I just can't help it. Oh, and the girl with dogs, with her grooming the dogs. I love that channel. Those are my happy place channels. All right, let's see. All That Jazz asked, what's one place you've never been but would love to visit? Well, the one place I would like to go, I actually have been there, but I was only there for 6 months, the first 6 months of my life. I was born in the Netherlands, and I would love to go back and see the hospital I was born at. I mean, granted, it might be a new hospital by now because that was, 1975. But I would love to go see the area where I was born. And I don't know. It's something that, like my mother was born where we live at. And she can go. She knows exactly where she was born. She can drive right to it. I can't. And I would love, love, love to go back to the Netherlands and see where I was born. I would love to do that. So I've kind of been there, but I don't remember the first 6 months of my life, obviously. So it kind of works. It kind of works. Excuse me. All right, so the YouTube questions that I got. Mariah Jones asked, as you grow in numbers, do you ever feel pressure to pick the right side? No. I guess because I'm too old to really care. Like, not care, but that sounds bad. I just want to tell you how I actually feel about a situation. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm never wrong about how I feel, but know that if it comes out of my mouth, that's how I feel. We've seen a couple examples of that where people weren't exactly agreeing with me, but that's fine though. I want people to push back if they don't agree. I don't mind people doing that. And Mariah also asked, how do you stay true to yourself with such a growing audience? Just stay true. I mean, I really don't know how to answer that one. I just stay true. If I feel like something is wrong, I'm gonna say it. If I feel like something's off, I'm gonna say it. If I agree with something, I'm gonna say it. Some creators that I notice are scared of their audience, and that's not the type of audience that I want to cultivate. I want a type of audience that I can cultivate that we do disagree sometimes, or we may have different ideas, or I could be talking about something and like, well, I think it's this and this, and somebody chat goes, well, what if it's this way? And I read it and go, well, you know what, it could be. It's a conversation. I try to do my videos as a conversation. And I think that's the best way to stay true. you know? I mean, my way is not always the right way. Y'all might come up with something better, you know? So, K-Pop asked, what are your favorite YouTubers? I would say Girl with Dogs and the horse, the Hoof GP. I really don't have a lot of favorite YouTuber. Well, no, Sharita. Sharita is a favorite YouTuber. I missed her live streams. She needs to go back doing live streams on Fridays. I don't know. There's actually a bunch. Like, I have my Happy Place YouTubers, and that's the ones I said before. But I mean, I actually have quite a few YouTubers that I run when they upload. But then sometimes I run when they upload because I'm working on a story or something. So that's kind of a weird question for me. I don't know. I've never really thought of it before. Like, I never sat down and thought, who are my favorite YouTubers? So, what's something you wish you had known and prepared for when you started your channel? Well, I will say this. I actually realized this when I started my crafting channel. It's hard work. This YouTube game is not easy. Not if you want to put out actual content. It's not easy. It's a lot harder work than what people think. You know, like, especially when I do like my deep dives and stuff like that, when I sit there and I'm showing you everything, a lot of work goes into finding the receipts, getting the backstory so you don't get it twisted, watching 5 million videos and 5 different like commentators on what they're saying about it. You know, writing it down and figuring out, okay, in what way am I going to show y'all this? And it's a lot harder than what it looks like. It really is. And I wasn't prepared for that when I did my crafting channel. And that's a big reason why I'm not doing my crafting channel anymore. Because that was a lot of work and it cost money doing it. But it's the same way for my commentary channel, this channel also, so. Alexandria asked, what does Mr. Xylie think about or feel about your YouTube career? He is 1000% supportive. Mr. Xylie deserves an award by how much he supports me in what I do. He absolutely does. He is an amazing dude. And he deserves an award not only for putting up with my crazy ass, but the support that he gives me. I've never had that kind of support in my life. He supports me in anything that I do. He really does. And I appreciate him to the moon and back for it. Andy asked, what's something you would want to cover on your channel and or will not? Well, to be honest, everything I cover is what I want to cover. But what I will not cover, I have a 10K rule on my channel. And because I don't want to commentate on smaller channels. Smaller channels are like coworkers. It tends to get really personal with smaller channels, and it's just not worth it to me. Not in a viewer-based type of situation, but it just gets too messy, and I'm not here to be messy. I'm not on YouTube to be messy. I mean, granted, the joke in the chat is, you know, we're messy but respectful. But I feel like we can do that with the bigger YouTubers. Because smaller channels are smaller channels, sometimes it can get really, really, really personal, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just not going to do it. Shay asked, what helps you keep your sanity in the YouTube community? my cats, my husband, my friends. I feel like I have a good support group around me. I feel like that I have people that when I'm questioning something, or I don't know how this looks, or do you like how the new setup is, or it just, I don't know. I have a really good support group around me. I have quite a few people that I can DM them and, just talk it out, and just support each other. So my cats, my husband, although the cats drive me nuts and I'm about to ship them away. Joke, I'm not going to do that. But they deserve it. But cats, husband, and my friends. The friends I've made in this space. They're absolutely amazing. And I love them all. Advent, which, by the way, Advent, I appreciate this question. Advent asks, what's your first franchise that got you into gaming? Okay. We can't say it's a franchise, but I can kind of answer this question and then I'll add something else. I've been gaming since Atari 2600. I have had a controller in my hand since I was very young. I have been gaming, oh my God, almost 40 years. Almost. I think so. Yeah, almost 40 years, maybe 38 years. 37, 38 years. Ever since Atari 2600 came out. Because my mom bought it from my dad. And I took it over. It ended up being mine. But I will say, the first franchise that I fell in love with was Fable on the original Xbox. I fell in love with that game. I fell in love with the fact that everything you did, it pushed you to either being a good person or a bad person. I loved how the game was set up. I loved the story in the game. Fable, 1000% all time, loved the franchise. And I understand Fable 2 was kind of janky. But the story was still good. I loved the story. I loved the story in Fable 3. I did. Fable is my all-time favorite franchise. My second one was Dragon Age. I love that franchise too. Carrie Collins asks, as the pressure of being on YouTube changed, and what content you put out since being monetized? There is a difference between right before I got monetized and when I was still at 300, 400 subs. I was a little bit too reckless in some of my videos. And I look back today and I'm like, ooh. Really? Did you really say that? Or did you really say it like that? So, I think it's changed, but my feelings haven't changed. In the sense of, I still talk about what I want to talk about. And, I still see what is right in my mind and what is wrong. I have evolved. And how I put my content out. I'm always trying to figure out a way to do a better show for all of y'all. To make it look better. And I'm always trying to figure out a way to make it look better, to make it sound better. And sometimes money gets in the way with that, whatever. But eventually I get there. But I'm always constantly looking for a way to make it better for y'all and more interactive and more entertaining for y'all. So that's probably a big difference now compared to when I was not monetized. So, and Bruce Jr. came in with the number one question out of everybody. Bruce Jr. asked, Is that the Xylie? Yes, Bruce Jenner. It is the Xylie. So, I hope y'all like the answers that I gave. There was a couple of questions on there that asked about different creators and stuff like that. And either I already covered it, or some of them I just I didn't know about. And there's one that I don't know, I'm thinking about covering. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah. So I picked out, and some were repeats too. So I just went with the first one that came up. But I appreciate everyone giving me the questions. I appreciate everyone taking the time to ask the questions. And guess what, guys? I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye.